All right, we're here talking about Xbox at E3 this year. We're doing a predictions video for what Xbox is going to be showing. I'm joined by first, um,
This is Mitch, the Pink Illusion.
Joelle to kitty.
and let's begin chatting today with basically three categories: what it's likely to be seen, what we might see, and what we likely won't see. Kind of chatting about rumors and everything. So liking the video is great, subscribing is awesome, and let's dive in and talk about Xbox at E3 this year. So we traditionally do this setup where we do like a pre-E3 chat. It's about a month away at this current point in time. It's May right now, so some of this stuff subject to change. This is kind of like the rumors, the details, and the info that we currently have available. Kind of going in here freshly and chatting about the event and what's going to happen and nailing down some predictions. I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting here today, but I'm sure these two will have some very interesting thoughts that they can throw in and stuff. So we'll first start just by doing a quick opening before we even dig into this stuff. What are you kind of looking forward to? Mitchell, you can go first.
I think I've talked about this a few times on like some of your other videos and streams, but for me it's Starfield. Ever since I've heard about Starfield, basically a Bethesda game set in space. I love Bethesda beyond all belief. That's that's what I'm going for.
And Joel?
Well, I'm big into Bethesda as well. So I'm excited, and I know it's not going to be coming out this year, but maybe they'll do a teaser. Who knows for Elder Scrolls 6?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's way in the future. Always looking forward to that.
Big Elder Scrolls fan, obviously. Well, I mean, you come in and you do all the Elder Scrolls videos, so makes sense if people know you from there on the channel. But with that, I'm also kind of looking forward to Starfield as well, just to know what it is, because it sounds like a big deal, and they keep teasing it. And
Can I say one side note off that really quickly? Is that there was the whole Bethesda poll thing that was done about a couple days ago, where one of the options was I enjoy being able to customize bases and spaceships. So I'm just saying, being able to build your own spaceship. Just saying.
it's probably just going to be like what they did with Fallout, kind of the settlement building, which is pretty exciting, I think. Because I'm hoping they kind of share that tech. Since they're under Xbox now, like State of Decay 3's on the horizon here. It'd be kind of cool if that one shared a little bit of the building tech side of things. So we're going to split this down kind of into three categories because we've got a list of info here. This is how I always do my E3 stuff. We start off with likely to see, which I think are like the bigger things we see very, likely to happen around that time. Might see, which is like things we could not totally believe in, but possibly could show up. And then unlikely to see, but things that might be cool to kind of see, or rumor things that might be happening. So we're going to start off here. We're first going to break down the Xbox event. So we've got a few different things that we want to kind of talk about. I guess first Starfield. Some of the rumors are Xbox Microsoft has bought ad time for Starfield coming up soon. What are you guys' thoughts? When do you think it's releasing? Do you think we're going to see a teaser for Starfield? Mitchell, up first.
Starfield is going. I'm gonna give you an exact date. Okay, are you ready for this? Starfield is gonna release December 9th of this year, right before Christmas.
Mm.
That I'm gonna go hard. Bethesda is going to want because obviously they're still making money off of Fallout 76 with the new expansion that just came out, and then of course Blackwood for Elder Scrolls Online just came out a couple weeks ago now.
The Flames of Ambition DLC just dropped, but the Blackwood chapter doesn't drop until June.
So with that coming out, they still have revenue, but I think that they'll want that nice Christmas boost of revenue right before. So
I like how you look at it from a business aspect.
Business is a big part of gaming. As much as people think it's art, it is about money.
oh, absolutely.
It's 100% about money. These games don't happen if they're not getting a big return on investment. And then to kind of build on that, Mitchell, what do you think they're going to show?
So the last time that we had a big Bethesda event, a big Bethesda reveal was, in my opinion, would have been for the Fallout 4 reveal, where they did like, it was probably a 40-minute event. I'm fully expecting they're going to do this for Starfield because we don't know anything about it yet. Not counting the possible ad times that are coming through. I think shipbuilding will be a big part of it. I'm kind of putting this more towards being similar to like the Outer Worlds, though, where it's like you're kind of more exploring than you're fighting, or rather than fighting, like it's more of an exploration-based game. So, yeah, we're gonna see. I don't think it's gonna be similar to things like Mass Effect or I'm trying to think of other space games that are super popular. But like Mass Effect is usually the one that comes to mind. I don't think it's gonna be like that. So.
Okay, and Joelle, when do you think it's gonna come?
I'm hoping that it's sooner rather than later. So I'm gonna go with a November date. We're gonna go with November 20th, just for fun.
Just after Halo, eh?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Get a little competition in there. So yeah, I'm hoping that they drop like a teaser type trailer. I'm really not sure if they will or not. But like for me, it would be great to know like a little bit more about like what is the story?
Yeah.
Because we don't really know. We just know it's in space. But it's like, oh, not in space.
I've been hyping this game up to you as well for like several months now, going like, oh, it's going to happen. And it's up there with Elden Ring with me right now. So.
Okay.
Like Skyrim, but in space or something.
Yeah.
It's basically that's what I've heard is it's going to be like Skyrim in space because we have Fallout in space, right? We have the Outer Worlds.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to be more exploration driven. I think it's going to come out in September.
Oh, early release. Interesting.
Because this is how I see the summer of Xbox is Microsoft Flight Sim, then Wolfie in August, September Starfield, October Forza Horizon 5, and then in November Halo.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it because they don't want to put. I wouldn't put Starfield and Halo right beside each other personally.
No, that's a very good point. Halo's going to be a huge drop.
Yeah, considering that. Yeah, I'm like 90% sure it was supposed to release last year, but the pandemic kind of ruined that. So.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. We'll go with that. That's what it was.
It wasn't Bruce the. Was that his name?
Who?
That was the memes that were coming out. Was when the original trailer came out.
Oh, you're talking about Craig.
Craig the Brute. That's what it is. And like people are making like super big memes and like taking this one shot of a brute dying and like animating it to sing and like it was fun. It was so fun.
Yeah, he's gonna be in the game.
He will be in the game.
Yeah, they're doing an Easter egg for it. They're gonna have Craig in there.
I would be upset if they didn't.
No, but I think for Starfield though, that's what they're gonna kick off the Xbox event with because we don't know if it's gonna be like a separate Bethesda event or if they're gonna merge in with Xbox for it. Just due to when the partnership when the the purchase happened.
Yeah.
We call it a partnership, but let's be real here. Xbox bought them.
Yeah, which brings to my other thing is I don't think Starfield is going to release on any other platform at all. Like I don't even think it's going to be a PC game at all.
They've been pretty clear about it. It hasn't even been announced for anything. Look, we know nothing about this game. It's like Fallout 4, remember? It's just like nothing, and then you go to E3 and it's like, it's happening, guys. And then
the best rumor I've ever heard prior to Fallout 4 coming out was that it was going to be set in what was it? It was going to be set in London, but only one single suburb of London, and it was going to be completely RTS. And it was like, what?
I heard.
So we don't know.
I heard Boston for years. After the Steel DLC, I think it was in Fallout 3. Yeah. Anyways, I think it's gonna open. It's gonna be dark. That'd actually be really weird because usually they open with Halo or Gears. But I think it'll be Starfield. It'll just be completely dark. You'll see some stars, and then they're gonna play like I don't know, let's say Starman from David Bowie. That's the easiest way you can do like kind of a space thing, and that's what they'll do. But we should get moving on to the next one, Halo Infinite. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. They're gonna show a trailer.
Yeah,
they're gonna talk about it. We spent a year working on it, guys, and yeah.
November 16th, 2021.
November
one day
16th.
After the 20-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Tuesday, right?
Sorry?
That's the Tuesday, because that's what I think it is. Whatever the Tuesday is of that week. Joelle, any thoughts on the Halo Infinite?
Just that I might lose Illusion here for a month.
Yeah. Okay. Flight Sim, pretty standard. I think we're just going to see a trailer. I'd say that one's pretty guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because it comes out in the summer.
They're pumping that up so much, considering that Flight Sim has already come out on PC. I'm surprised that they're trying to pump it up so much for an Xbox release, and it's going to be so high on that.
It's a big game.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's a big game. It'll set my computer on fire if I try to download it. So.
Like I can't remember what the number was, but it's supposed to be worth like billions over the next 10 years. Like this is a 10-year game, Flight Sim.
Yeah.
So
well, the other Flight Sim, what is it called? It's Microsoft Flight Simulator 2008, I think is what the last one was called. 2007.
I think wasn't it Flight Sim X?
Oh, it might have been. Yeah.
I don't know if they gave it a fun name or something, but this one's just Microsoft Flight Sim, but pretty standard. So let's go into our Forzas. Horizon 5 Motorsport. I think they're going to tease Motorsport, but I don't believe it's ready, and I think Horizon 5 is going to be ready to drop. Joelle, you can start first. What do you think of the Horizon series?
Honestly, I don't know much about Horizon. That is not my area of expertise.
That is totally fair. Mitchell, Horizon 5.
I like the older, like the first Horizon game. Never really liked any of the other ones. Like I like racing games, but I liked the straight motorsport ones more. I didn't really like the street racing styles as much. So it's kind of while saying that they always look beautiful, and that's one thing that always stands through. I know that this is pretty much asking for too much, but being able to have the guys that are now part of the no longer part of Top Gear, but the guys part of Amazon's the Grand Tour, I would love to see those guys come back ever since number 4. So
That's the Motorsport franchise. They did 5 too. They were in 5.
did they do 5? I didn't know that.
They were in 5. I guess I'll take the reins on Horizon. It's supposed to be set in Mexico. The series traditionally releases at the end of September, like the 25th or something around there. So I'm thinking, late September, October release. Assuming this is coming out this year. I mean, we haven't gotten any tease of it, but we can't go 2 years without a Forza title, I don't think. Because that's like one of the holy trinity, right? Halo, Gears, Forza. That's all we've had on Xbox over Xbox One, so I think it's gonna come. Wolfenstein 3, which is kind of rumored, and that's because the company that obviously makes the Wolfenstein titles, they're working on Indiana Jones right now, which would mean that Wolfenstein 3 is obviously ready to go. I've heard it's single player. I heard it's got some multiplayer. Let's have Joelle kick this one off again.
Well, I haven't played any Wolfenstein games, but I have watched trailers and stuff for them, and they do look really interesting. I like the story aspect of it. And it's very cinematic.
Yeah.
Is what I would say. So I would be excited to see how they continue the series and what happens.
Mitchell?
Going off what Joelle said here about the cinematic, I distinctly remember the first Wolfenstein game having this awesome moment at the beginning of the game where oh my god, I can't remember. BJ is stuck in the not mental hospital, but stuck in the long-term care ward, and time is just going on around him as it skips from the World War II up to the 60s. I love that, and that honestly got me hooked. That scene alone actually is the scene that I always fall back on for the Wolfenstein games, because that got me hooked on these new styles of Wolfenstein games, because I was a big fan going back into the 90s. So, overall, Wolfenstein 3, I unfortunately never got a chance to play Youngblood as much as I wanted to.
Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass, which is why I have no excuse to not to have played it as much as I did. But yeah,
it's co-op. You guys could.
Nice.
Next date night.
You can play as the twins.
Working through a couple games right now. But while saying that, I did watch playthroughs of it fully, and I want to know where they're gonna take it for the next one, because it did end on a slight cliffhanger. I wouldn't say a massive one, but so there's definitely loose ends where you want to get tied up, right? Which I doubt they will on the next game fully, but
they'll just leave a bigger cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. Are we on the same page? Assuming this year it's coming out, or at least shown this year.
I would think either I actually would say an early next year. I would say like first quarter of next year. And the reason I say that is because I think that they'll want to focus fully on Starfield and ESO.
That's fair. Hellblade 2.
Is it still going to be called, like, is it still the same subname, or is it going to have a different subname than Sacrifice?
No, it's actually, I think this one is literally.
It's a new. I can't even pronounce it. It's a new Sacrifice. First game. It's another game I haven't played as much as I wish I did. Phenomenal cinematics, phenomenal graphics for the year it came out. It's been holding up super well. Um, I would like to see it come out more. One thing I distinctly remember for that game as well is that it did have a pretty fun combat system, which is always something I fall back on. So
It's Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
Senua Sega Hellblade 2.
Yeah, so you can see a lot of her. They've been teasing the actress doing the motion cap. She's actually training for this one. She's doing a lot of like fighting training and stuff. And
Those are all the things.
she was a kind of a breakout in that one because I think she was just like a programmer for the studio, and they kind of threw her on the motion cap, and then she was like one of the best probably the best performance that year, I think.
Yeah.
Out of everyone, and the story. The story of them making, Hellblade, I guess it was just a number of them, and they had to work other jobs while they were making it, kind of in the upstairs of a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very happy that Microsoft picked them up at Ninja Theory. So, yeah, I think that one's going to be a big deal. I think we're going to get like a full kind of trailer thing, and I think that's a 2022 release. Pretty sure. I don't know when in 2022. Probably late 2022.
Certain games, because I don't think Xbox is going to want to release everything in one sitting this year. That's kind of why I'm thinking like the big games are going to come out this year. I think Halo is going to be the flagship along with Starfield, but other than that, I'm not expecting a lot more this year because of the pandemic. So
that's fair. I think it's going to be a pretty big gangbusters fall. I think they're going nuts. I think they've got studios, and because you got to remember, like, typically you wouldn't release everything at once, right? But Microsoft loves the fall. And this is also going to be a combination of not just Microsoft releasing these games, because you got to remember a lot of the stuff is in motion because Bethesda's already set this all to go. Because it takes time to sort out when stuff happens after a partnership. So I think this is a lot of going to be pre-existing. Bethesda's got these games set up for certain months, and that's where we're going from. Compulsion's next game, I guess I'll talk about this because I'm assuming you guys haven't heard anything. This is supposed to be a semi-futuristic, Montreal-based, sort of cyberpunk-esque action game. That's all we've heard of it. Compulsion, they made We Happy Few. They're known for a very distinct Bioshock-esque art style, so that should be pretty cool to see. We also, I'm assuming, Age of Empires 4, which is going to probably be because they said it's coming out this year, so it'll probably be in October. It's not as big of a deal in the Xbox lineup because it's PC.
So it's the Age of Empire games are like they're pretty staple still though. So like even like our friend is playing Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3 continuously still today.
Well, they just did the definitive releases for them last year.
Oh, I'm not even counting the definitive releases. I'm saying like he's still playing all of the original games.
Oh, the original ones. Oh, okay.
That's how much he enjoys them. So
that's dedication, but
he's only big in party games.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying it's not going to factor into their scheduling for other games because I don't think they consider, it's like, oh, we better move Halo around Age of Empires release. I don't think it's quite factored in that way, but I'm guessing October because that's when they seem to release some sort of Game Pass announcement. Maybe use Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah,
being added. I assume there's something Game Pass wise that's going to be shown. We're just kind of splitting through some of this stuff a bit faster for time. Crossfire X, we haven't had an update in a while. We're probably going to hear something about it. Dusk Falls, that's another story one they're talking about. Probably going to get a little bit of details on it. And then the sub-Bethesda area, Deathloop, probably at the PlayStation event because they're, it's timed exclusive there until it comes out a year later on Xbox. Tokyo Ghostwire, same sort of thing. Elder Scrolls Online DLC. Joelle, they usually show something for DLC, usually for Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, they normally release a trailer. I believe they've released 2 trailers, give or take, already for the Blackwood DLC. We're seeing some new characters in this DLC, which is interesting, as well as a returning character from a base game storyline.
Yeah, the nice thing about those trailers as well is that they go with Like they actually tell a story in the trailers, right? Like like if you put them all together, like it's a consecutive movie. So.
Yeah, they are very movie-esque. The thing with the Blackwood chapter is we're switching gears. Greymore was all about like the Grey House and vampires and werewolves and that kind of stuff, whereas now we're switching back to the Daedric gods, specifically Mirror's Razor. I'm really bad at saying Daedric god's name, and he is like one big bad dude. Like you don't want to mess with him. So I could see this chapter, like the big climax would be taking on this big guy as like a boss.
Right.
And that's why we bring Joelle in.
I know.
Joelle is golden on the Bethesda stuff, okay?
I'm like,
so now we're going on to Might See. So these are kind of things that we're talking about. We might see teasers of, or we think might be coming there. Avowed, first up. Any of you two want to talk about Avowed a bit?
excited about.
I do not think Avowed should be on a Might See. I think Avowed should be on like we're gonna see something, because Avowed is I'm like that is a game that's gonna be coming really fast, and I think we're gonna get a surprise announcement where it's gonna be like, hey, June, when does E3 end? Like June 20 something? We're gonna get that game dropping on like June 30th.
What?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. That game. I think that game's gonna have something some surprise out behind it. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but in tradition Obsidian, because that's an Obsidian game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Obsidian. I don't know. I don't even know how I would properly explain this. Obsidian, I feel like just want to put the product out the second it's done. That's how I've always taken it to be from them. Because I look at some of their other games that have come out, like Grounded, which is a phenomenal game. I feel like they finished it the day before it came out. Like
well, that's in game preview. You know they're working on 5 games right now.
Yeah, they've got multiple things going on, and we kind of have an idea as well of who the teams are on them. The second biggest team is currently working on Avowed. We don't know what the biggest team is, though.
Mm-hmm.
A rumor, I should say. So
I think Avowed is going to be like a pretty like solid game, so I could see them taking their time with it.
I'm thinking 2024, 2023.
You're thinking that far?
I think they're going to spend a lot of time and put a lot of.
This is a big game that they just kind of started. I think it's going to be
real hopeful on this, because I think we're gonna see something from it.
I mean, maybe they'll tease it, but no, I think it's a future thing.
The Skyrim killer.
It's Skyrim killer. I always found that funny. It's like, oh my god, they're making a Skyrim killer, and then they bought Bethesda.
Now fight, kiss.
They're getting the monopoly on RPGs. Speaking of RPGs, Fable. Joelle, you want to take this one off first?
I'm excited. I hope that it comes out sooner rather than later. But
did I get you to play the first Fable with me because I have it when it got re-released. I don't know if I ever got you to play it with me when it re-released, or if it got you to play it with me before it re-released.
No, I haven't played it, but just the things I've heard about it just make me very excited about it. It's got that fantasy aspect, and I'm big into the fantasy stuff. So
chicken chaser.
Mitchell, when do you think it's coming? What do you think we'll see?
I think it'll be. I still think that one's a little bit far off, and the only reason I think that's far off is because we haven't actually heard anything about it since the teaser trailer that dropped. What was that, 2 E3s ago now?
Last year.
Was that only last year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's going to still be a little ways off. I'm much less optimistic on that than compared to Avowed. But while saying that, I think Fable's another game that is a staple of the Xbox console. So hopefully we can see something good for it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be 2023. They've been working on it for about 5 years or something now. So that's Playground's working on it. So Playground's 2 teams now. One team works on Horizon, one team works on Fable. I think it's not going to be too far off, but I think the pandemic maybe pushed it a little bit further back than it would have been. But it's supposed to be like a single player, expansive experience. I'm assuming some sort of like multiplayer type casual integration, maybe some co-op or something might be thrown into. But that's that one. All right, next up is Everwild, which I'm assuming is gonna, late 2022, probably 2023. Obviously the legendary Rare is working on it. Our Sea of Thieves building friends, and that's supposed to be their next kind of cooperative type experience with nature and all that. It looks quite lovely. Let's go ahead and have Joelle talk about it first.
So I'm excited about this one because it again has that fantasy aspect as well as like nature, and it'll be interesting to see, like that style of game or that genre of game being like a multiplayer game. And Sea of Thieves especially is a really fun multiplayer game that like we just like hop on sometimes and just joke around. So I'm interested to see if it's more of a casual type game or if it's going to be a little bit more where people are invested and it's a growing community and that kind of stuff.
And Mitchell?
Honestly, Joel kind of took the words out of my mouth for that. Sea of Thieves is just like it's a big game and it's got a lot going on with it still. So I think that we're going to see Everwild. Like I think we'll see something about Everwild, but I don't think we're going to see that game for a few years at least. Because I don't think Rare has the manpower to be able to put out that game at this like quickly from Sea of Thieves, unfortunately. While saying that, I would be surprised if we didn't see a trailer for it, especially just like I think we'll all be looking at them with hope because Sea of Thieves was such a great game. Is such a great game. Like it's still such a great game. So unfortunately, we don't know anything about it, but
fantasy and nature.
Yes, and maybe co-op.
It'll be co-op. I guarantee. You know what? I just my only fear is that it's not a Sea of Thieves, like basically a copy, just in a different
Sea of Thieves on land.
Land Thieves.
Okay, so next up is probably a new studio purchase. They like to show those off at E3.
Yeah.
You think of anyone they might be picking up? Any thoughts on a new studio purchase?
I don't know of anybody, so I'm gonna joke and just say they're buying Sony.
See, I was gonna joke and say they're buying Disney.
That would actually be a pretty good purchase. I've actually kind of done a discussion chat for people that have asked, and I've actually said Disney would be a smart purchase.
Microsoft is bigger than Disney, isn't it?
So significantly.
Yeah.
Disney's like small time. But I'm saying that because Disney would give you like a different type of media.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft doesn't do any like video stuff. They don't do any like movie stuff, but I always joke about that being a smart purchase. You get a lot of IP. You know what I mean? Like you get like Star Wars and Marvel and Indiana Jones and Alien and Predator and all of your childhood favorites.
Yeah.
But in all realism, like the more companies we talk about them picking up, the more over time a lot of these companies have been getting like investments put into them. So it's like less and less companies are on the table, as to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think for purchases, like they keep talking about that. I do want to kind of mix in the whole discussion about like Steam ending up on consoles and Phil Spencer apparently doing like weekly meetings with Gabe Newell about something. What do you guys think about that at E3 being talked about?
I could see it being talked about. My fear with putting Steam onto Xbox, like on one hand, it'll open up a lot of because
the play Among Us on the Xbox.
Well, that's already happening. That is going to happen.
That's happening.
Yeah, they announced that in January. I'm surprised it hasn't released yet.
Yeah,
what are they doing?
Maybe.
Right. The thing with Steam is that Steam allows indie developers to put out a lot of games, which Xbox does do as well. But an indie developer, in a lot of experiences, has trouble porting between two different consoles because it is two different consoles, right? Or between Steam and between Xbox. That is my only fear with putting Steam on. I feel like it'll be. How do I explain it? I feel like it'll cause a bit of a mass mayhem in terms of us losing certain games or us gaining games that maybe we don't need, if that makes sense.
They could always do like Steam Link.
Yeah, which is true. So
Which would kind of fix it because Valve was apparently wanting Game Pass on Steam for Steam PC, for Game Pass for PC. I think something's happening there. I don't know what is, but I think something is happening there.
The other issue you run into though is because there's certain games that are out on Steam that are also out on Xbox. Okay, so my bet, let's go with Ark because Ark is probably the best example. Okay. Ark on Steam and Ark on PC Xbox, like Xbox PC, are not compatible. You can't actually play with people on each one, even though they're both on the PC. You cannot they're considered cross-platform. So I think that might cause issues. But
I mean, you just throw in a Switch.
Like ESO going cross-platform. I think that fell out of favor, but and that's again, a PC versus console.
Yeah.
I think that'll happen though.
I don't know if that happened. They've been talking about doing that for a while.
But Microsoft now owns Bethesda.
Yeah.
I would love to see that because I have some friends that play only PC, and it would be great to be able to play with them.
I think you're going to see cross progression and crossplay happen on Elder Scrolls Online over time. I don't think it'll happen immediately, but I think next couple of years they will do that because they're already changing crowns and stuff on that game.
Right.
Yeah. I think that will happen. But for the Steam thing, I always thought long term when Gabe Newell's done or whatever, he's going to do like the George Lucas thing and just hand it off to Microsoft for like trillions.
You know what? I think that what's going to happen is Gabe Newell will hand off Steam to Microsoft, and then he's going to turn around and he's going to and very slightly there's going to be like a single line in the contract for this business agreement. Okay, it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar deal. In the very bottom of the contract, like wedged in between Major Nelson's soul, and I don't even know what else. There's going to be a single line that just says Half-Life 3 never release.
Half-Life 3 never released. My recent joke on streams has been they're going to release the third version of all these games. Left 4 Dead 3 is going to just be a remake of Left 4 Dead 2 and 1 together, and they're going to call it Left 4 Dead 3. Half-Life 3 will be Half-Life 1 plus 2 as remakes. They're just going to do that for Portal 3 will just be Portal 1 and 2 remade together as Portal 3. And that's just how they're going to do it.
Portal games come back. I'd be up for the Portal.
I'd be up for the Portal games. That was my introduction into video games.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It was Portal, then Skyrim.
Portal's pretty great. We got some more to talk about. Let's speed this up here, I guess, to some degree. Gear 6. I mean, they just the cat. Gear 6. They just said that they're moving to Unreal 5. So I assume Gear 6 was actually going to be like a next year game, but it might be a couple years away now.
Yeah, I don't think they're moving to Unreal 5. If they're moving to Unreal 5 engine, because I'm surprised that it took them this long to it took in Unreal 5 is this delayed because.
Well, it takes time, but I assume they were already going to be working on Unreal 5 though.
Yeah, like that's a big game engine to like redo. So that's what I mean. I'm surprised it's taken this long, and if it's taken this long, I think they're trying to perfect that game engine so that they can release games on it. So because Unreal 4 is what we're currently playing on for a lot of those games, right?
It's probably like 4.5 or something.
Yeah.
They do increments over time to it, and they add to it, obviously, but it's just a bit weird that the Coalition wasn't working on Unreal 5 already, because I know a number of studios already have been working on it for about half a year or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I'm okay if they take their time as long as we don't get the crap show that was the Halo Infinite.
No, they know what they're doing with that engine. In Exile's next game, which is supposed to be a first-person RPG steampunk game.
Wasteland 4.
I heard it's going to be like, because they just kind of teased it today, that it's going to be like a first-person shooter-type game. So it might literally be Wasteland, but like as like Fallout, kind of. Moving on to the next one quickly. State of Decay 3, which I think we'll get a teaser. When you guys think State of Decay 3 is coming?
Still next year. Late next year. I think State of Decay 2 has still got a bit of play value off of it, and I don't think they're rushing that because there were definitely some major glitches when State of Decay 2 came out. So
yeah, I think this is going to be different with this release because they'll actually have the full backing of Xbox, because Xbox was in a very awkward situation when they were working on the second one. I think 2023 for State of Decay 3. Well,
Okay.
2023, State of Decay 3, you know, the threes, it lines up.
Math checks out. Mitchell, you had something to say?
Did the first two State of Decay games come out on anything other than Xbox? I do not recall.
PC.
They did come out on PC.
Yeah. I mean, everything is going to release Xbox-wise, Xbox, PC, Game Pass, so cloud and stuff.
Okay.
Perfect Dark. I don't think we'll get any update on that. I think it's a bit out.
I did not realize until about 75 seconds ago, while just quickly making sure I had the right info on all of this, that Perfect Dark is actually a Rare game.
Yeah, Rare made it back in the day. They're not working on it, though. The Initiative is.
Oh.
You know who the Initiative is?
Yep.
Joelle?
Yeah. Nope.
They're a brand new studio made of some of the best talent in the industry to make games for Xbox. And I guess it's playable because the one person that works for the company said their daughter was trying it out, like, I think several months ago they were trying it. So, I mean, it's like being worked on, so probably 23, 24. I think we're going to get a really good, like, 2023, 2024 kind of...
Good run through.
It's going to be a nice year.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So we talked about Ubisoft Plus on Game Pass. Quake Next. There's some rumors that Quake's being worked on.
I don't know. We'll see it with Bethesda, right? But
yeah, I think it's a bit off. And then we have our unlikely to see category. Okay, so, and you know, I gotta say things about the rest of the industry. Xbox stuff seems to leak almost on purpose, just to keep it in the loop.
I think it's the same with Marvel. How Marvel leaks and Star Wars leaks and everything. I think that those leaks are all done on purpose.
Yeah, they do it, draw us in.
Yeah.
It just keeps, like, because you constantly hear about Xbox leaks, like, every week there's some sort of, like, hey, we've heard this game's going to be like this a little bit, and, you know, I think it's a hype-building thing, and I think those insiders are given the insider loop, because there's no way they're getting access to all this information and not getting, like, blacklisted. So, unlikely to see. I don't think we're going to see The Elder Scrolls 6. I'm thinking 2025. But, you know, Joelle, when do you think we're going to see Elder Scrolls 6?
Open my lifetime.
Sometime around Elden Ring, at some point.
If you guys had to put a date on it.
Had to put a date on it. I would say 2026.
I'm gonna go a little more optimistic and say it's gonna be a late 2025 release, after the E3 of that year.
I think it's going head to head with GTA 6 in 2025 for the Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're going head to head. Indiana Jones, I don't think it's ready. They just did a splash thing. It's a long time away.
I think it's also going to be waiting to tie directly into the movie. I think that there's going to not a movie game, but I think it's going to tie into the movie. So
release wise,
yeah.
I will say if Harrison Ford isn't the voice actor for it, is it even worth it?
His voice got old too, though. That's the only downside.
He's good at voice acting in games. He's incredible in Lego Star Wars.
Yes, I agree with that.
He was incredible in that game. Like, he was, you know, no one seemed interested, but I was like, is that Harrison Ford actually caring?
I'll be excited for Lego Star Wars when they freaking release the Skywalker saga, which, you know, was supposed to come out in December of 2019.
Something like that. They keep delaying. You know, it's weird. They used to pump out like 3 or 4 Lego games a year, and we haven't had one in, like, I think a few years now. I don't even remember the last Lego game that released.
Yeah. most of the Lego games, like, on Game Pass are like Xbox 360.
They used to just, like, crazily pump those out. The Hideo Kojima project, which apparently is going to be on Xbox.
Death Stranding 3. It's not going to be 2, it's skipping 2. It's going to be Death Stranding 3.
Knowing that guy, but PlayStation actually owns the IP on that.
Oh, really? I didn't actually know that. Never mind.
But
my bad.
I don't care. It's going to be my nightmare to review it.
No.
My literal living nightmare. We've also got Project Typhoon, which is supposed to be the IO Interactive Dragon RPG fantasy game they're working on alongside Bond.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
I know, right? Another fantasy RPG. It's a good time to be a fantasy RPG fan. But I think that's a couple years off. I don't think they're going to show it. Oh, no, that's Project Dragon. Project Typhoon is another Xbox game they're working on. Sorry. To clarify, the IO Interactive one is Project Dragon. Project Typhoon is a different game.
It's okay. Project Dragon has the dragons.
Yeah. And finally, just to throw off a couple more, Conquer and Banjo-Kazooie. Nah. No. Never going to see those again. And final one would be apparently Fallout 5.
Fallout 5, the rumors going around according to the Fallout subreddit right now is that Bethesda's only just started hiring for an unnamed project, looking for like storyboard developers and game designers. Most people are thinking that's Fallout 5, and if they're just starting to do that now, I cannot see it honestly for at least. I'd be hopeful at seeing it before 2028.
Yeah. But I read today that the Xbox person, one of the execs came in and said that they are very happy to be heavily focusing on the biggest IP in Xbox, which included Halo, Forza, and Fallout.
Okay, so
but could it be Fallout 76? Are they still working on that?
That's what they thought about, but all the other games that they kind of mentioned are upcoming games.
Being off that, Control 6 bumping forward just a tiny amount, like maybe to 2024, 2023, and Fallout actually being 2025.
Well, I also think it might not be too crazy that they might have actually been working on making another studio that just handles Fallout.
Oh, like a brand, so like similar to what like ZeniMax is in control of Elder Scrolls Online, and
yeah,
that would be interesting. Discuss off camera later.
So that's
any swears and alcohol.
That's what I kind of heard, but I think that about sums up our very lengthy E3 chat. I'd like to thank you guys for coming. First off, where can they find you guys? Mitchell, you go up first.
I'm gonna say I'm on Xbox, known as the Pink Illusion. You can also find me on Twitch as the Pink Illusion, same thing, and YouTube is Climbers95ers.
And Joelle?
You can find me on Xbox at Kitty Cat. It's not Titty Cat. It is. Tiki, the cat, made an appearance earlier. She is the inspiration for my gamer tag because she helps me game. You know, she sits on my lap. I have my Xbox controller. She's a big part of my game. But yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, well, I'm Sky Captain 5, and you're on my channel, so you should know where I am. And liking the video is great, and subscribing's awesome, and thanks for watching.
Let's do this thing.